In today's video, I have to survive 100 days as a Ravager. Day 1, I spawned into the world as a Ravager, and I could see I've spawned right outside of this pillager outpost. This was great. I could see that there was some pillagers nearby, so I went to go and say hi, and I could see they was very happy to see me. Anyways, I wanted to go and see if I could find any loot, but sadly, as I made my way down to this outpost, I couldn't quite fit. I was a little bit too big to fit through this doorway. But don't worry, I decided to get myself some dirt, so I could make myself a way up instead. And as I made it to the top, I could see there was a chest. So I opened up the chest and found myself some potatoes, some wheat, some dark oak logs, and of course some XP bottles. Very nice. Well, as a Ravager, you get hungry very quickly, and if I was going to be surviving these 100 days, I would need plenty of food. So I went around taking down a few sheep, and also decided to go and get myself some wood, so I could craft myself a wooden pickaxe. But we need to now find some stone. So I went around exploring and found this cliffside, and there it was, stone. This was amazing, so I gathered up some stone and made myself a furnace, and cooked up all my food, and that's a lot better. We now have some cooked food. Well, I think it's now time we go exploring to see what we could find. So I headed out across the lands, and by the next day, I couldn't believe it. There it was, a village. This was not good. I knew what had to be done, so I carefully made a way down to the village. And I had to be careful that the villagers didn't see me, so I carefully snuck over, and yep, there they was. Villagers. So I made sure to wait for the right opportunity, and I struck, charging at the villagers. But unfortunately, the villagers saw me and started running. But luckily for me, I was a Ravager, and I was a lot faster than the villagers, so I was easily able to catch up and take them down. But then, as I took down this villager right here, there he was, the Iron Golem. This was not good, and I knew the Iron Golems did serious damage. And then out of nowhere, I was hit by the Iron Golem, and yep, he did some serious damage. But luckily, after a few swings, I was able to take down the Iron Golem. Wow, that was close. I think there's only one last thing to do, set the village on fire. So I made a flint and steel and set the entire village on fire. Now this should show the villagers never to mess with me again. Wow, just look at this place, it's completely destroyed. Now this should show the Iron Golems and the villagers to never mess with me again. Wow, I think it's time we get out of here. Well, after taking down that village, I now wanted to build my very own base. So I went across the lands and found this spot, and I thought, here, looks like a perfect spot to build my very own base. But there's one thing we need to do before we build our base. I kind of needed some more food. So I decided to make my very own potato farm. So I flattened up all the ground and planted in some potatoes. And there it is, a very simple potato farm. Very nice. Okay, it's time to build our base. But first, we'll need some materials. So I headed to the forest and got myself some oak wood, and also collected some birch wood as well, and also a load of stone. I'll need loads of stone for this build. Hey, guess what I found? Off in the distance I could see that there was this spruce forest, so I headed over there and collected some spruce wood, which I'm sure this will look great for my build. But then, as I was collecting myself some spruce wood, I couldn't help to notice, but I could see there was something off in the distance, and I could see that there was this icologer. I couldn't believe this. Now I wonder what this icologer is doing. But then he turned around and walked away. I couldn't believe my very own eyes. So unfortunately, I couldn't speak with him. Oh well, hopefully one day we meet back up again. So, day 7, I returned home and built my base. So I used some oak logs and also some stone bricks, which went very well with this build. And also did a bit of decorating, added some pillager banners around, and of course, you cannot forget about leaves. So I made sure to add those around as well. Added some storage, so I could store some of my items. Placed in some furnaces, and also some smokers, so I could cook my food very quickly. And on day 11, here it is. It does not look too bad if I do say so myself. We got a nice pathway right here, also some fences and a tree. As you can see, we've got plenty of leaves around, some nice spruce wood, also the pillager banners, which look great. And if we enter our base, you can see we have some nice oak wood, and of course a crafting table so I can craft my items, a bed so I can sleep, and of course all my storage area. This is where we store all our items. Very nice. Well, I think it's time we go and check up on our potato farm to see how it's doing. And yep, it was doing amazing. I could see all the potatoes have grown up. This was great. So I collected myself some potatoes and then rushed back to my home to go and cook them. And then I patiently waited for all the potatoes to be cooked. And yep, that's a lot better. We now have some fresh food. Wow. Day 12, I think it's now time we go and get ourselves some armor. We don't have any, so I went out and went exploring to see if I could find a cave. And off in the distance, there it was, a cave. Hey, and also, there was some copper. Now I'll need this copper for my spyglass, so I collected some, and that should do it. That should be plenty of copper. But then, there it was, iron. This was just what I was looking for. But then, I stumbled across a mine shaft. I couldn't believe the odds. This was incredible, so I carefully made a way down and decided to go and get myself some chain. But then, you wouldn't believe what I found. I could see that there was this minecart, and as I opened up this minecart, there it was, a golden apple. Now, I'll be sure to take this. But then, as I was exploring the caves, I stumbled across the warden's cave. And also, I didn't want to wake up the warden, so I carefully made myself a way around. But as a Ravager, you make a bit too much noise when you walk, and I accidentally woke up the warden. I could tell he was not very happy. Oh no. I knew I had to stay quiet, so I tried to back up as quietly as I could. But unfortunately, the warden could sense I was here. This was really bad, so I sprinted for my life. I ran the fastest I could. If I got hit by the warden, it would be game over instantly. I didn't stand a chance. But luckily, I was able to get away. And I have to say, that was close. Wow. After escaping the warden, I was able to find this lush cave. I could see there were some moss blocks, so I collected some. And also, some lapis. I'll need this for enchanting. But then, there it was, diamonds. This was incredible, so I rushed over there as quick as I could and got myself some diamonds. And I have to say, finding diamonds is so easy. I was able to find myself so many diamonds. So after collecting a few diamonds, I decided to construct a diamond pickaxe. And I now wanted to go and find some obsidian, so I can make myself a Nether portal and also the enchantment table. Hey, and I also stumbled across this slime. So I went to go and say hi, and me and this slime was very good friends. But then, as I was exploring the caves, I stumbled across some axolotls. So I wanted to keep these axolotls as my very own pets. So I got my water buckets and collected some axolotls. And there it is, we now have some pets. Wow, wait a minute, is that some amethyst crystals? Yes, it is. I was able to find myself some amethyst crystals. I'll need these amethyst crystals to make my spyglass. Wow, there it is. But then, as I was returning home, I couldn't believe it. I could see my base has been set on fire. This was not good. And also, there was these furnace golems. I had to stop them, so I rushed over the quick as I could and immediately started taking them down. And I have to say, these golems were extremely powerful. They did so much damage, but I knew I had to get through this if I wanted my base to survive. So I tried my best to take down the golems the best that I could, but then I accidentally stepped into some fire. But luckily I had a golden apple, and I was okay. And luckily, after a few swings, I was able to take down the final furnace golem. I couldn't believe it. Just look at this place. Luckily, nothing was destroyed. Wow, that was really close. So the next day, I removed all the fire around my base. Thankfully, my base didn't get destroyed, but I definitely think it's time to make some iron armor, just in case those furnace golems come back. So I made a full set of iron armor and also some diamond tools. Now this should keep me safe from those golems. But then I remembered about the pillagers. I wanted to go and check up on them to see if they was okay. So I sprinted the fastest I could back to the pillager outpost. But then I couldn't believe it. I could see the pillager outpost has been destroyed. I could not believe my very own eyes. I wonder who could have done this. Just look at this place. It's been ruined completely. Sadly, I wasn't quick enough and I couldn't save the pillagers. Oh well. So I decided to return back home. I can't believe it. Well, I think it's now time we make a place for our axolotls. And here looks perfect. So I cleared out a bit of space, removing all the dirt that was in the way, and then decided to decorate the area up a little bit, adding some stone and also a load of decoration, like some new paths, some fences, and of course some flowers, which looked very nice. And finally, here it is. It does not look too bad if I do say so myself. And as you can see, we've added some spruce trees, which look awesome. Anyways, it's time to place in the axolotls. And I could see the axolotls were very happy with their new home. This was incredible. So I think it's now time we make the Nether portal. And over here looks like a perfect spot. So I placed in all the obsidian and there it is, the Nether portal. So I didn't hesitate and jumped through. And as I made it to the other side, I could see there was nothing special really, just a typical Nether, but there was some bones. Now I'll need these bones for my potato farm. So I collected some. Anyways, my journey continues across the Nether, and I found a crimson forest, so I collected some crimson wood. And also, you wouldn't believe it, there it was, a bastion. And luckily for me, I was able to find all this gold. This was great. I could make so many golden apples with all this gold, so I collected up all the gold that I could get. Hey, and I also found this chest, which contained an enchanted golden apple. And also, I found a netherite ingot. Now I'll be sure to take this. I could make myself a netherite tool, which was great. So anyways, I left the bastion, and I now needed to find myself some blaze rods. So I went around exploring, and luckily, I was able to find the nether fortress. And yep, there they was, blazes. And if I was going to be making potions, I would need nether warts. So I had to go and find a new fortress. Luckily for me, I was able to find one nearby. And I was able to find this chest, which contained some diamonds. Now I'll be sure to take these. But then, as I turned this corner, there it was, nether warts. So I collected some nether warts and also some soul sand, so I can make my very own nether wart farm. And the next day, I went to the warped forest and got myself some ender pearls. And that should do it. It is now time to return home. But then, as I was returning home, I heard this noise. And as I turned around, I could see that there was this wandering trader. So I thought, why not go and speak with him to tell him what happened here? So I told the wandering trader about what happened, about these furnace golems, and asked him if he has seen any. He told me that he has not seen any furnace golems whatsoever. So I told the wandering trader if he would go and look to see if he could find any for me. He told me he would, but he would want some emeralds for it. So I said I didn't have any emeralds, but I did have some diamonds. But luckily, he accepted my offer, so I gave him the diamonds, and the wandering trader told me that he will go and have a look to see if he could find any furnace golems. Now let's hope the wandering trader returns. Anyways, I think it's now time to make some potions, but first, we'll need a potion station. So I'll place in some stone bricks, some granite, some bricks, and also some more stone bricks with some lanterns, some item frames, placed in a few chests, placed in the brewing stands, and finally placed in the water. Nothing too special, but it looks awesome. Anyways, it's time to make some potions. So I started by making some health 2 potions and also a few strength potions. You never know, I might need these. But that's not all. Oh no. I also decided to make the enchantment table. And there it is. We now have the enchantment table. But of course, the enchantment table would need a place to go. So I built an enchantment room. And I have to say, it does not look too bad. With all the trees around, really look nice. Anyways, it's time to place in the enchantment table. And there it is. But we're missing one thing. We need some bookshelves. So I think it's about time we go and get some. So I made some eyes of ender. And it's now time to go and find the stronghold. And finally on day 40, there it was, the stronghold. And also, I landed straight into the library. This was great. I could see there was loads of books here, so I gathered up all the books that I could get. But then, there it was, the end portal. Wow. So what I decided to do was to place in my eyes of ender. And yeah, we only need a few more. So I get home and make a bunch of bookshelves. And place them in, of course. And yep, there it is. The enchantment room is pretty much done. So it's now time to do some enchanting. So I enchanted my pickaxe to get myself fortune 3. I couldn't believe it. But I do definitely think it's about time we upgrade our armor. It's not looking so good, is it? So I headed to the caves, and there it was. Diamonds. This was unbelievable. And whoa, that should do it. That's plenty of diamonds. So I'll return home and make a full set of diamond armor and also some diamond tools. And just like that, we now have a full set of diamond armor and tools. Wow, there it is. Hold on, we're not finished just yet. I now need to get myself loads of levels, so I can enchant all my diamond armor. So I collected up all the levels that I could get. And that should do it. That should be plenty of levels. It's now time to return home and enchant all our armor. Wow, just like that, we now have enchanted gear and tools. Now we should be pretty safe from those furnace golems. Well, I think it's now time we go exploring. So I headed out across the lands, searching to see what I could find. But then, off in the distance, I could see that there was this abandoned village. I was very intrigued and I wanted to go and check it out. I could see this place was completely abandoned, but there was this one villager, so I said hello to him. Hey, and I also could see there was loads of hay here. This was great, so I collected up some hay and also found some blast furnaces. You never know, I might need these. So I decided to go and collect them. Wait a minute, is that a Nether portal? Yes, it is. I found myself this Nether portal, and also there was this chest which contained another enchanted golden apple. I couldn't believe the odds. I was super happy. Anyways, my journey continues on sea, and off in the distance, I was able to find a shipwreck. This was great. I could see that there was this chest, so I opened up and I found myself some emeralds, some diamonds, and also some iron. Found a second chest which contained a treasure map. This was great. We can now go and find ourselves some buried treasure. So I sailed the seas, and I could not believe it. I could see that there was this jungle. This was amazing. Anyways, after that, I went searching for my buried treasure. Now the treasure should be around here somewhere. So I started digging, and after a bit of digging, there it was, the buried treasure. And yep, there it was, all this loot. You can see there was loads of emeralds, iron, some gold, and some diamonds. Wow, guess what I found? I found some melons. Now I'll definitely be needing these for some potions. So I collected myself some. And also, as I was at the jungle, I thought why not go and get myself some cocoa beans. So that's what I did. And surprisingly, I stumbled across some pandas. So I went over to them and went to go and say hi. And I decided to give some of the pandas some bamboo. And I could tell this made them very happy. Just look at them. They was very happy pandas. Anyways, it's time to leave the jungle now. So I said my final goodbyes and I headed out. But then, as I was exploring across the lands, I stumbled across this ice spikes biome. This was great. So I went around exploring, and by the next day, I could see off in the distance that there was this building. I was very intrigued, so I went for a closer look, and to my surprise, I could see it was this village that has been burnt down. Now I wonder what happened here. Just look at this place. It's been completely destroyed. All these buildings have been burnt to the ground. Oh wait, what's this? I could see off the distance that there was this fort that was still on fire. So I rushed over there the quick as I could. And as I made it over, I could see this place was ruined. I wonder what happened here. It must have been those furnace golems. But I had to go and check it out. So I entered the base and I could see this base was some sort of pillager base of some sort. I couldn't believe it. This place was ruined. But then, there he was again. The icologer. This must be the icologer's base. I best go and speak with him. So I made myself a way over as soon as possible. Anyways, I finally made it over to the icologer, and I went to go and speak with him. I told him, what happened here? It looks like the furnace golems have come by and destroyed your base. He told me this was no furnace golem, and he told me that he needed my help. We needed to speak. So later on that night, me and the icologer went to go and sit around the fire. He wanted to tell me his story. So we sat around the fire, and the icologer said, one day as I returned back home, I could see my base has been destroyed. Now I've dealt with the furnace golems before. This was not the furnace golems. This was someone a lot more powerful. But if it couldn't get any worse, I had some villagers that were trapped, and unfortunately they escaped. These villagers were dangerous. But unfortunately, I failed. I couldn't let this happen. I had to go and find them. So I set out on a journey across the snowy blizzards, searching for these villagers. And then finally, after a long search, I couldn't believe my eyes. There they was. There's no way. The villagers have taken over one of our outposts. This place is now ruined. I can't believe it. They've burnt it down to the ground. I failed. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told the icologer we needed to go back to the outpost to take down those furnace golems for what they did. The icologer happily agreed and said we should probably get some rest and head out in the morning. We could not let the furnace golems and the villagers take over our outpost. So we mounted up and we headed out to the outpost. finally, the icologer told me we was now getting closer to the outpost. So I made our way up this hill right here, and there it was, the outpost. And we could see villagers had turned it into some sort of station of some sort. The icologer said if we needed to go, we needed to go now. We needed to end this as soon as possible. I knew what had to be done, so I rushed down the mountain and immediately started taking down these furnace golems. The furnace golems could not stop us. Me and the icologer were extremely powerful. They didn't stand a chance against us. The icologer told me to wait here for a minute. Once I was waiting for the icologer, I wanted to take a look at this place. I couldn't believe it. I could see that there was all these furnace golems ready to deploy. This was not good. And also this building. Now I wonder what they're using this for. Whatever this is, cannot be good. Anyways, I returned back to the icologer and he told me he was able to find some TNT. So we knew what to do. And I mean, wow. Just look at this place. It's been completely ruined. This is showed the villagers. Anyways, it's time to go and speak with the icologer. The icologer told me, we've done it. We've done what we needed to do. But he said we should probably go our own separate ways now. Just in case we're followed by the villagers. So we said our final goodbyes and the icologer left. Well, we finally made it back home, and I have to say, it's nice to be back home. But there's one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to check up on my potato farm to see how it was doing, and it was doing very well. So I collected up some potatoes, and also went to go and say hi to my axolotls. And I could see they was very happy to see me. I almost forgot about this netherite ingot, so I decided to put this netherite onto my pickaxe. And there it is, we now got netherite pickaxe. But I wanted to get myself some more netherite, so I headed to the nether and got myself loads more. And wow, that should definitely do it. That should be plenty of netherite. Wait a minute, is that a bastion? Yes it is, I found myself a bastion. And I could see that there was all this gold. Now I was definitely not going to leave this behind. And once I was in the nether, I also thought, why not go and get myself some more blaze rods? So that's what I did. And also some more ender pearls. I will definitely be needing these. That should do it. Time to return home. Day 95, I returned home, smell up all the ancient debris that I collected, and also decided to repair my armor. It was kind of broken. And then finally, I turned it all into netherite, and that should do it. Wow, there it is. It's now time. It's now time to go and defeat the Ender Dragon. So I gathered everything I needed from my chest, all the stuff I would need for this fight. And before I left, I made sure to say goodbye to my pets. This might be the last time I would ever see them. So I said my final goodbyes, and I headed out to the stronghold. And finally, there it was. The end portal. I knew what had to be done, so I placed in all the eyes of Ender, and the portal opened. This is it. There's no turning back now. I was ready for this, so I jumped through the portal, and there she was. The Ender Dragon. I knew I had to be quick to take down all the end crystals, so I used my bow to take down all the end crystals. And That should do it. I took down all the end crystals. It is now time to end this fight, once and for all. So I rushed down as quick as I could, and I started attacking the Ender Dragon, doing serious damage. But then out of nowhere, I was shot into the sky by the Ender Dragon. I couldn't believe this, but luckily I had a God Apple, so I had that. And I have to say, that was close. Anyways, it is now time to end this fight, once and for all. So I'm waiting for the right opportunity, and I struck, taking down the Ender Dragon. And there it is. Wow, we did it. We defeated the Ender Dragon. And I can see there was loads of XP here, which was great. And also, I could not forget about the Ender Egg. So I made sure to go and collect that as well. Wow, there it is. Anyways, it is now time to return home and make a place for my Ender Egg. So I cleared out a bit of space and used some quartz blocks and also some bone blocks, which went very well with this build. And finally, on day 99, here it is. It looks pretty awesome if I do say so myself. Anyways, it's time to place in the Ender Egg. And wow, there it is. But then, I can see the Wandering Trader has returned. And I can see he wanted to tell me something. He told me that he was able to find a Furnace Golem base, not too far away. And he wanted to go and show me immediately. He told me to hurry, we couldn't be too long. So, I followed the Wandering Trader across the lands to this mysterious base. And finally on day 100, we cannot be far now. How much further is this place? The Wandering Trader told me it was not much further. It was almost there, so I continued to follow him. But then the Wandering Trader stopped. I was a bit confused. And he told me this was a trap. I couldn't believe it, but then out of nowhere, I fell into this trap. And as I fell, I could see that there was these 3 villagers just looking at me. Now this cannot be good.